Her grandmother died, and she still had to coach. How do you lead when your heart is breaking and you're managing grief? Welcome to Dreamers Blueprint. I'm a failed player turned trainer, here to give you lessons that I wish I had when I was younger. And today's lesson isn't so much about getting better at basketball, it's really about getting through life. How do you show up when life demands more from you than you think that you have? We sit down with Coach LaKaitlin Wright, the Director of Basketball Operations at Temple University, a coach who walked into the gym carrying grief in one hand and responsibility of her team in the other. She lost her grandmother while managing the demands of coaching Division I basketball. So this episode isn't just about basketball. This is about the strength behind the smile and the game behind the game. Whether you're a coach or a player or just someone who's trying to hold everything together, this conversation is for you. Let's get this blueprint from Coach Wright. As a college coach, you got a lot on your plate already. Like, it's a crazy life, crazy schedule. How do you deal with everything? Like, I don't know. I just feel like a lot to be a college coach. How do you deal with everything that goes into it?
It is a lot, and, I don't know if you've seen that TikTok where it's like, "How do you deal with it all?" You don't. Like, the answer is you really don't. You just do what you have to do to get through, day to day. I think it's a lot about the community you have around you that can pour into you on the days you might not be 100%, and, my head coach now, Diane Richardson, who was my head coach when I was a player, used to always say, just, like, bring what you have." So if you have 75%, bring 75%. Just show up in the best way. So I think that's the biggest thing is just showing up for the people around you and for yourself.
Mm. So your role is Dobo, which is um, definitely at the lowest of the totem pole because I feel like you kind of got like a ugly job, I guess you can say. Not the best word to use, but it's kind of ugly in terms of everything you got to do. So what does like an average day look like for you?
Ooh, so for Domos, we really don't know. It's just really we're crisis management is what I like to say. Chaos coordinator is what some people call me. It's anything. So day to day right now is just game planning, ensuring that we have what we need for home games, away games, setting up our travel, our hotel housing, that situation. The biggest thing for us right now is like renewing the kids' leases and making sure that their things are ready to start school back, which we did yesterday. Preparing them for that stuff. And then right now, also you have to lock in for a conference tournament because a lot of the paperwork and like hotel bids go out now for March. So just a lot of things you have to have your hand in a lot of different um things to do, but it is a fun job because you really never know what you're gonna be faced with on the day, but you do get to just have fun and be with your kids, which I feel like is my favorite part of the job. It's like I'm not necessarily stressed by the X's and O's and if we facilitated play correctly, but it's more like, did you fill out your meal form? Like, that's what I worry about most on a day to day, but I love my job. Absolutely love it.
Mm. So would you stay there or do you want to move up at all?
No, I love what I do. I don't really have the desire to, coach. I used to when I was a graduate assistant, but I saw very quickly that that was a lot of stress and pressure.
Hmm.
So I really love being able to manage the outside stuff. So everything off the court, I really love because it really it plays into the student athlete as a whole. It's not just what they do and how they show up on the court. But like when they're down or when they had a bad day or they failed a test, like usually I'm the person they come to talk about that with. And that's why I love this position that I'm in because I'm in the gap. Like I get to feel the need when they just need to be a student or when they just need to be a kid because they missed home or just little things like that. I don't have to necessarily be the coach that's telling them to go score, but we are fortunate enough here at Temple to have a staff that does care about them outside of that. But when they just need someone that doesn't have to deal with that, I'm the perfect person.
Mm. And how long you been doing it?
This is my first year as a Dobo, but I was the director of program operations at Memphis, and the assistant recruiting coordinator.
So
Yeah.
what was the what was the biggest jump from the program coordinator to Adobo now?
Not much, I'll say. I had a great Dobo at Memphis, Nadiria Evans. She's now an assistant coach at ETSU. But she really helped me and let me be beside her in a lot of different aspects of the job, so I got to see a lot of it. I would say the biggest thing now is being the point of contact. Every school I was at before now, like, it was someone else and then me. You know, as a graduate assistant, you do the dirty work, but, like, it's not you. Your name is not on it. Now with, like, if hotels call, they're calling me. If meals fail, they're calling me. So I think that's the biggest jump, but it's something that I was prepared for, so it's exciting.
Do you feel like a lot of stress and pressure now because you got that role, like, it's on you now, whereas it's like, "Oh, it's on her, and she kinda come to me next?"
Um, I like it. I'm not gonna say I don't like it. I like being responsible. I think that's the word. I like being responsible for things because then
Mhm.
I can make it be whatever I want it to be. Like, if I want us to have a schedule that's set like this, I'm the one that has to create it. So I like that. So if it goes wrong, it's on me, but then I can also be intuitive and change it for the future. Like, I love that aspect of it all. Just being the hands and feet of the program outside of our coaching staff. So I think that it's not necessarily pressure, but it's responsibility in a way.
Mm. I like how you flip that word.
Yeah.
That's interesting. But what's the most, like, demanding piece that you it just takes a lot out of you? Whether it's takes a lot of time or, like, the mental or emotional energy of what's the piece that's just like, "Oh my goodness, I have to chip away at this, and it's a lot."
It would have to be the ongoing scheduling. Like, you are always scheduling something, even if it's years out. Because with our assistant coach, Cheyenne Curley, who does our scheduling, you have to work with her to make sure that fits what we already have planned. Or if a girl comes and says, "Oh, I have a class and I have to do office hours with my professor and I need to move this," like, you're always on. It's like we like to say, you're always on, and you always have to be aware of the schedule set, and then how can you have to have a plan A, B, and C in your head for changing anything that might come to you at that day.
Mm. So, you said you didn't wanna, like, when you was a player, you wanted to become a coach, and then you was like, "Ah, not the X and O coach."
Yeah.
Were you X and O as a hooper too? Or you just like something
No.
totally different? I
Not
thought so.
at all. I was not an X's and O's. To be very honest with you, and our head coach now laughs all the time, I did not like basketball. I didn't wanna play. My mom was my head coach in high school. They made me play from a kid. I wanted to be a cheerleader. So, um, so I won't say I didn't care. I love basketball, but, like, I didn't it wasn't, like, something that made me just wanna go and learn different plays or study the game like a, invested player would've, but I got there before my college years, like, I got there. But, no, I was never X's and O's player. I just did what I was told and whatever my teammates needed me to do, I got you. Like, but it was never something that kept me up at night for sure.
So what was, like, your thing as a player? Like, I call it superpower, like, what was the thing that made you special on the court?
It would have to be my rebounding. My rebounding, and just the physicality that I brought to our teams.
Mm. Were you ever the go-to player?
Um, I don't think so, not necessarily. I think there were a few games where, like, we had a demanding post on the other team, like, I was called on and it was my responsibility, or if they were undersized as a team, like, "Yes, go." But I was surrounded by so many amazing players in Melo Jeter, who was drafted my senior year. Ryan Holder was I still feel like she's a defensive All-American. She didn't get what she deserved. Q, um, just amazing players at what I put Towson, and then at Mercer as well, like Kalia Lawrence, who was an all-star, and she also was drafted. Sydney Means, who's an assistant at Clemson now. Like, I had an all-star team all 4 of my years in college, so I was never like that player, but I would say I was like B-roll. I'm cool being B-roll. So,
Mm. What was your leadership like when you were hooping?
um, I think I took on the space of being the outside leader, so off the court, like, I was always active in different facilities and programs, or I was the one when I was in school in 21, I was the one that was big into voting because that was a powerful election during those years. Or, community service. I kinda took on that aspect of showing them, like, yes, we're basketball players, but we have so much more that we can tap into, and we only have 4 years to do so. So, again, I had so many amazing people on the court doing what was needed and showing, like, going to the gym, getting those extra hours. I was the one they looked at if they wanted to tap into something deeper or they wanted to expand on what the degree was in, like, they kinda went to me, and that's how I love to show up for community, and that's why I have a heart for service, and I think that's where my leadership really flourished, if you will.
Yeah. I'm trying to understand like the connection from player version of you to coach version of you.
Okay.
Because as a coach, like you're automatically leading. Like it's like
Mhm.
you can't shy away from it. So I just want to see how as a player you led in comparison as a coach. And I see like kind of similar thing, like X and O's not my thing. You
Mhm.
come to me for the life stuff and the bigger picture stuff. So were you kind of like the team mom on the team?
Yes, I
See?
was. I was.
I'm here with you now. I see who you are. I got you now. I got a picture of
Mhm.
who you are. I got you.
Mhm.
So you the one everybody came to, coach going off, and it's like team huddles. You got everybody to see, I
Yes.
understand now. I got
They
you.
pick on me now, like, even our staff, because I am the person that has the Band-Aids, the ibuprofen,
Mhm,
candy, like, everything's in my book bag. They pick about how heavy my bags are, but it's like they never have a moment where they don't have what they need. Like, I have everything in my bag, so I'm always prepared.
mhm,
So, I take that with a crown because I am the team mom. I'm gonna make sure we have everything we need.
mm. See, I got you. I understood. Once I made that dot, I was like, "Okay, I see who she is now."
Mhm.
So, as a player, what was your biggest challenge trying to figure out your leadership? Because, like you said, you weren't the star player, so is it
Mhm.
hard for you to figure out when and how to speak up and when and where to, like, have your bits and pieces, or was it easy for you?
It was definitely very hard for me because I did transfer into Towson.
Mm,
I transferred very late in the summer of my going into my junior year, so I didn't know the team at all. So I came in probably I moved in August, so, like, it was right I
mhm,
really missed summer. So that was really hard for me because we had some prominent leaders on that team already, but they knew that I was a very good player, but I just needed help to figure out where I fit in. So I
mhm,
think that was very difficult for me because I didn't know where to interject and say things or when I had the space to because I was so fresh out. But, it was my teammates. My teammates were the ones that said, "Oh, Leak, you know what you're saying, like, you know what you're talking about, say that." Or if I said something to a post, she was like, "No, you need to say that to everyone." It really was my teammates that pushed that out of me and, um, made me comfortable in speaking and hearing my own voice and demanding things on the court. I would definitely give credit to my teammates.
So was it easy when you became a coach to step into it and do it naturally, or did you have to, like, relearn it at that level too?
No, I think it was easy for me when I was a coach because I felt more entitled to or inclined is the word. I felt more inclined because I felt like I was doing it on behalf of my babies. That's what my players are my babies. So I felt like I was doing it on behalf of them. So if somebody's stepping to them wrong or somebody's doing something with their transcripts or something's just not working in their favor, it's the like mama bear, I guess, that comes out of me. And I want them to be their best. So I'm gonna fight tooth and nail to make sure they get what they need. So it's easier for me to speak up now because I'm doing it on behalf of us. And I think as a player also when I realized like what I'm doing is benefiting the group, it was easier for me then.
Mm. So what have you learned about yourself? Because I feel like when you start going through this new process, it's like you think you know yourself, you step into this new role, and it's like, "Oh, snap, I need to work on this," and then, "Oh, I didn't know I could do that." What's something that you learned about yourself throughout mainly this year?
It's okay to be firm, but it's never okay to be unkind. Because I used to hang
Mm,
my hat on being nice, and I worked on these past 2 years just not unlearning being nice, but switching the word from nice to kind. Like,
mhm,
cause nice, you just want to be favorable to people, like, you want people to like you, and sometimes people aren't gonna like me for what I say because I have to stand and I have to be the one that maybe, doesn't go with what the majority wants, but it's because I might know more insight about something that they might not know, our players, you don't know the stuff that goes behind the scenes, so I might have to say no to
mm,
something you really want. But I think it's just learning that, it's okay for me to not be liked. in those situations. And if I'm doing what is most important and what's gonna benefit you in the long run, it's okay. Like, I can do that. I think that's really what I've learned about myself. Like, I don't have to be the one that's liked all the time in this role because you're rarely liked as a Dobo. Like, some of the decisions you make, people just don't like it because they don't understand. But I think that's the biggest lesson I've learned. Like, I don't have to be loved or liked.
Mm. What's a moment that sticks out to you being like, this really is a moment where you grew from it, or even if you messed up and it's like, all right, I got to relearn this lesson again.
Um, I feel like it would have to be our Bahamas trip this year, which was really big for me. It was my first international trip as a Dobo. Um, and it was a lot of things in the airport that obviously I've traveled with bigger parties out of the country, but I was never the point of contact again. So when
Mhm.
we get there, I have 32 people that I have to get through an airport, and I have to be the one you may be raising my voice sometimes, like, hey, we need to move this way, like things like that. And I think it really, I had to take a moment once we got everyone through, like, you did it. Like, good job. Like, I had to praise myself in that moment because I realized that this is something that I can do because again, this is my first year. That was my first international trip, and I didn't want people to see me, fearful, but I was very fearful because we have some
Mhm.
international kids, that can get a little crazy. But I think that was the moment where I was like, "You might be alright." Like, "You might be alright." So that was that moment for me.
Are you more introverted?
Yes.
Mm.
You wouldn't be able to tell, like, because I am obviously for your job, you have to be able to interact with people that you meet, but once you get me, like, just every day, I'm very just me, myself, and I, like, just chilling.
Yeah. Okay. Mini soapbox moment because I get like annoyed with social media with this. People confuse what introvert and extroverted actually really means.
Mhm,
And so people think, oh, introvert means you're shy and you're timid and you're quiet and stuff. And that can be true, but it's not like the full truth. And people think extrovert, oh, they just loud,
mhm,
weird, all this stuff is out there. But it's really like your nature, basically how you recharge your batteries. So after a long day, you've been stressed out. Do you like to go home and chill? Like y'all say, rub your feet together
mhm,
and watch a show, read a book, do y'all thing? Or you want to talk to your girlfriend on the phone or, man, go out and get a drinks, whatever it is. That's kind of what pins you to being introvert or extrovert.
mhm.
And
I
so you're
auntie in
introverted.
the bed. When I get home from work, I'm taking a shower and I'm in the bed. I am not one to call. I am not one. I need my space and my time because we give out so much throughout the day as a double, as a coach, just in coaching in general. Um, I am not the one to go, I don't need a drink. I need to be in my bed. And that's where
Mm.
I'll be. That's where you will find me every day.
Nah, that's fine, man. Because, like you said, in that role, you probably get confused and think, oh, she just outdoors and everybody loves her and you just want to be around. But then almost hours now, man, y'all finna hit that do not disturb and y'all can catch me back at the office next morning.
Mhm.
How have you kind of managed that with being an introvert? Because your job requires a lot of you. The players are going to demand a lot of you. Your coach is going to require a lot of you. How have you managed being an introvert, time to yourself, being kind and being firm, like you had said, but still like managing all that stuff together?
I think it's still an ongoing thing for me figuring it out. Cause some days, I will be honest, I come home and I'm just depleted. I have nothing to give myself. I have nothing to give anyone else. But throughout the months, I've learned, like, I have to take, like, off days. Normally, when I first got the job, like, I was in the office from 9 to 5 on off days just because I was like, I wanna be a great double, and I still do, but I realized to be a great double, I have to make time for myself. So going to get things done that I might not have time for on a day-to-day basis, I do today. Or, maybe the biggest thing for me is, like, obviously, we're needed every second, but when I can tell someone, like, "Give me 5 seconds," to go, and I'll just, like, hide away in my office for a second, get myself together, then come back out. I just wanna be my best for them in the moment, and sometimes that means I need to take a second before that, before I answer that question, before I answer the call, to get myself together and realize, like, I'm okay, and regulate myself, and then I can be my best for them. I think it's just really taking a step back a lot of times and just getting myself together because I know that's what it takes for me to be my best.
You ever went up for anybody? Like, you ever just went to 10 and just, like, told somebody something?
Last night, Imma be honest, me and them
Ooh.
girls in that training room, we 'cause we unfortunately lost to Tulane last night. It was not a great game. So TT had to tell them. 'Cause I feel
Mm,
like I can really relate to them because our head coach now was my head coach, and I graduated in 21, so I'm not that far removed from how she was. So yeah, just a little bit, not much, not much.
how'd they take it?
Well, because they know that I don't ever get like that, and it wasn't bad. I'm never one to like, blow up, but it's
Mm,
just a moment of transparency and honesty to what I was seeing. And I think they take that well because they know my policy is honesty. Like, just be honest. I don't care what's going on. Just tell me what's going on. So they know when I have to tell them something hard, they take it really well.
mm. So how's this season been overall for you? Like, just taking a
Um,
new role, taking a new school, everything's going on with it?
Honestly, it's been a blessing, and that's really the biggest word that I have for it because I'm working with people that used to be my coaches. Um, and in that situation, it could be my friend likes to say people try to little girl sometimes in situations like that where you go from being a player under someone and you're working with them now. They don't see you as the coworker. They still see you as a player. But I'm blessed to be in an environment where they respect me. And what I say is like what I say and they work with me and they help me figure out stuff. And even in the moments where I do kinda cower in and don't know what I'm talking about or I'm confused, like, they help me. It's not like a belittling thing, I'm really surrounded by people that care about me. So I think this year is a blessing, especially in this operational role where so many things are required of you to be surrounded by people that care about the person first and then the job is just a blessing to me.
Mm. So, like you said, you kind of have a balancing act of dealing with you, dealing with the job, dealing with the girls, coaching, everything.
Mhm.
How do you kind of, like when you do take time to mentally reset and recharge, what does that look like? Or what does a day off to kind of refeed yourself and, replenish yourself? What does that look like? What are you trying to do? Like, what's the goal? What kind of does that look like for you?
For me, it's really resetting, so washing my clothes, pretty well like that have been piled up from road trips or, cleaning up my apartment. Really maybe going on a walk, just things like that that maybe I go to. I have a library across like near my house, so like I'll go there and sit for a little bit, or I just drive around. Just things that don't require a lot from me,
Mm,
and I can just really enjoy the moment. I might go walk around a store, not buying anything, just something that doesn't require anything of me. That's usually what those reset days look like, or just literally sitting, just scrolling, doom scrolling. I know that's something, people don't like to do, but sometimes I don't have to think. If I don't have to think about it and I'm just looking, I'm just viewing, I'm liking whatever I like, that's really just calming for me. And I'm not required to do anything in those moments. That's really what helps me reset and pours into myself so I'm able to give.
mm. And you talked about your community, having right people around you. What has your coach done for you?
She's done everything.
Mm,
Um, she has truly changed my life, and I don't take that lightly at all. Um, Coming out of Mercer, I didn't like basketball anymore. I didn't really wanna play, and I have to credit Zach Cantor, who was the recruiting coordinator at the time at Towson, who called me and said, like, "I need you." Um, and I'm just like, "I don't know," and he got me up there, but Coach Rich really sealed the deal, and she told me on my visit, like, "I have you for life. If you commit to me, I'm committed to you," and that is a promise she's kept to this day. No matter where I've been when I was doing my graduate, assistantship, she's the one that put me in contact with Coach Butler, who's now at Louisville. Um, she was the one that my 2 years at Memphis, she was always in my ear encouraging me. She was always telling me, like, "Whatever you need, I got you." And she doesn't say that to just say it, like, she means it. Um, every Final Four, she was the first person that would hug me as soon as she saw me. Like, she really cares about you like a daughter. And I mean, for her to give me this job, I've never been a Dobo anywhere else. So for her to trust me to be a Dobo at a D1 program for her in a year that's very monumental for her. Like, she's wanting to win a championship this year, and to allow me to be in this role fresh out is something that she didn't have to do. So she truly encourages me every day. She pours into me every day. And um I call her my grandma. Like I call her my grandma, but she is like that woman that loves you no matter what. She's gonna tell you how it is, but she's gonna love on you, and she's gonna make sure you know how important you are, how worthy you are, and how much you can accomplish. She's gonna push you to do that. She's not gonna let you be mediocre. And I appreciate that about her.
Mm. What happened at Mercer?
It was just a lot. I think it was more I wasn't ready to be pushed the way that they were pushing me, and I take accountability for that. Like, I don't feel like I was mature enough, at Mercer, and I think in hindsight, I see that a lot of the stuff that was happening was just coaching, and I needed to be ready for that, and I wasn't. Made some crazy decisions. But now me and that head coach are like this. Someone that I can call now, and I appreciate her because I realized being on the other side how hard it is to be a coach, especially one that had won at the amount she had. Like, she had weight on her shoulders. She wanted to be great, and people expected her to be great. So I can appreciate her now that I'm outside of the game on the other side. But it was really me being dumb, me
Mhm,
not making the best decisions. But yeah, I love Mercer now, like I do, and I am very appreciative of everything that happened in my 2 years there.
mm. So, not too long ago, you had you can say like a life altering event, you know, and your grandmother passing. How did you first? How did that kind of like hit you? Like, how did you receive the news, like of knowing that happened, and how'd you take it?
Um, it was rough, but in college, I majored in gerontology, which is the study of aging. So we go through the death cycle and grieving and all that stuff. So I knew about it. I knew about it fairly well. I got the call when I was at my friend Danielle. She coaches at Michigan now. She was actually recruiting in the area, so I went and sat in an open gym with her, and I got the call while I was there, and I didn't, like, overly react. It was my mom on the phone. Obviously, it's her mother, it's a big deal, but I had to stay calm in the moment. You don't
Mhm,
wanna freak anybody out. I'm 13 hours away from home. I don't want her worried about me. So it was just like, "Okay, I understand, like, what do you need from me? Do you need me to fly home now?" Things like that. But when I got home and realized the gravity of what happened, you get the tears, you get, the I wish I would've, I wish I would've went home a little more, I wish I would've called. But then, you have the wave of, like, my grandmother was, I think, 89, 88. She
mhm,
had a life well lived. Like, she loved the Lord, people loved her, and she served with everything she had in her. To her last day, she was still in service. Like, though she was bedridden, she was calling people. She has a heart of service, and I think the mind shift now has become, I want to be regarded as people regarded her. And it's not
mm,
because of, like, what comes with that. It's just because I know how impactful she was on my life just as a grandchild. But the people that she touched, like, I still get texts and calls to this day, like, "Your grandmother was such a nice person, we miss her." Like, not because she just had a pretty dress on, but because she was hands and feet on the ground for people. So I think that's really how it's impacted me now. Yes, I went through the really tough, you know, fighting with God and, things like that, like, "Why did this happen? Why did you do this?" And I went through that, but I realized, like, I think I need a renewed spirit of service. I needed that. And I know even in my grandmother's last days, that's what she wanted in this life, was for us to live for other people. And like I said at the beginning, like, your journey is not yours. So what I'm doing and what I'm going through is not for me. Um,
mhm,
it's not it's not what I have to experience. Yes, I have to go through it, but it's because a little girl somewhere is looking at me do this. It's because somebody that I touch is gonna have the power and the ability to go and give to someone else, and that's gonna go tenfold down the road for someone that I may never see or may never touch or never even get to hug or anything. But because I made it a conscious decision to be of service and to give is is why I feel like her death and in her life was just so impactful to me, and it will be impactful to others with who may never know of who she was. So that's how that's impacted me in this moment.
Mm. I think one of the most challenging pieces is trying to like, I guess like grasp the concept of grief.
Yeah.
And the closest thing I felt to it would be like um something you know is missing but not knowing where it is.
Mhm.
And so 24? Yeah. Yeah, 24. And having like he's like my mentor, my OG, like my second dad, all this stuff, man. He was battling with cancer and he passed.
Mm.
And so to this day, still, it's not. I have pockets where I feel sad, but it's pockets where I'm just like, oh, I can't wait to text him, but and I can't.
Mhm.
Oh, I'm gonna call him, and I can't.
Mhm.
That's the what it feels like for me. And you forget sometimes. I'm thinking like, oh, I'll see something from him. Like, oh, I can't wait to see what he. Okay, you can't.
Mhm.
And I think that's the closest thing of like, it's just like something's missing, but you can't put your finger on it at times. It's close to what I would define it. And the weird part about it, it never fully goes away. It kind of just evolves and takes a new form. And so now it's like the moments of sadness I had it, but then my mind always goes like to the family because their family, my family was like this.
Mhm.
And so whatever I feel, it's like this compared to what they feel because that's her husband, that's their dad and granddad and somebody's uncle and cousin. Have you even s- kind of thought about what grief is and how you kind of think about it in your own way?
Mhm. Yeah, I think I this is just side note. My goal is to one day own a funeral home. So I'm very intrigued with this process. That's why I wanted my degree
Mm,
in it. It's really something that intrigues me. But one of my favorite definitions of grief is just love with no place to go. So I
mm,
think like it's love you once gave, but now you don't have a place to give it. Um, but I love that definition because you can now reroute your love in honor of
mm,
someone. So I think that's where grief is for me because you have to go through the 5 stages, like, you don't believe it, you're angry, you gotta try to come to terms with it. It's a lot of different things that go into grief, but I really hang my hat on the fact that I have love that I gave my grandmother while she was here, and again, I now have to give that love to someone else in her honor. I'm doing this because my grandmother would have done this. I'm doing this because the love I gave to her is still in me. Like, I haven't changed other than losing such a significant person in my life. I have a job to do, and not just being a dobo, not just being on the staff, but I have a job to do as her granddaughter. You have a job to do as his mentee, as his little friend, whatever you wanna call it. You have a job to do to inspire the next generation. You have a job to do what he did for you for other people. And I think that's the highest way to regard someone post-life is to be that person in another form. Just be them. How what they were for you, you have to be for other people because it
mm,
was so significant for us. So I think grief has a crazy way of rewiring the way we think. And I think that's why I'm so intrigued by it because you can truly like grief can change your life in a good
mm,
way or a bad way. And you just have to find a way to lean into whatever side you want to. Cause I'm definitely not the one to look down on people who let grief affect them negatively. Cause sometimes it's something you just can't get over. And it's okay. Like, you have to be okay with sitting in those spaces where you're just not okay. But then you can also find a way, and if you can't, lean into the fact that you have an opportunity. Like,
mm,
death, I love the saying of, like, energy never dies. So, like, just because the person the Bible says, the flesh leaves this earth, we still have a soul that we love. We still have a heart that we nurtured and we cared for that we can go and do for other people. So I think that's what the side of grief that I like to lean into.
mm. Walk me through how you kind of went through the stages of grief because I think it's one thing to I say like understand it here, but then understanding here is two different things.
Mhm,
And so a lot of times I can like rationalize things and logically break stuff down. And I'm like, oh, it makes sense. I understand it. But then they go through him passing. It's like, oh, I get it here of
mhm,
what people talk about now. So
mhm.
how'd you kind of balance both parts? Because like you studied this and you understand and you knew it. So how'd you balance both sides of it?
Um, I think it was me really taking the time to accept it. I think that was the biggest thing for me because, again, in my role, I had to still show up. I still had a job to do. Um, but it was the fact that I was going on with life as if it didn't happen. Like I was just especially with me being in Philadelphia, I'm a Georgia girl, so I'm 13 hours away from home. So my life wasn't necessarily impacted significantly here in Philadelphia.
Mhm.
So I just lived as needed. And then when I flew home, I think that's where it really hit me, walking by her room and she's not in there. I can't stop in and bother her. Like I can't stop in and throw a pillow at stuff like that. Like I couldn't do that. And I think that's where it hit me. And I took the moment, I just sat in her room and you cry your tears, you yell, you scream. But then I realized again, like so much of me is her. So much of me is her. And I am not me without her,
Mhm.
but she is always in me. So we have not separated. And I always say that, like, I have her picture that's right up here. That's what I keep looking at. But like I am not me without her, but she is always in me. So we are one together. Like we are doing whatever we're doing together. I still think about her in everything that I do. When I give people a special long hug, that was me and her thing. Like it was a extra tight little squeeze at the end. Like that's how I hug people now, for sure. Like I don't even do there's no side hugs and no, I'm gonna full hug you every time I hug a person because I'm intentional about it. Like I think I've had to accept that yes, she is absent from this side, and I know that she is in the perfect care now. Um, but life is different in a positive way. Like I have to tell myself, I have to actively tell myself in a positive way because I still have the days where grief just consumes me. Um, I want to say like a month after it happened, I was just in my office. They were practicing. My assistant double Shelby came in, and I was just in full blown tears. She caught me in a moment. And she just, closed the door. She talked me through it. Like she really was like, "You're okay." And just you're gonna still have those days. And I had to accept that within myself. And that's the mind part. Like I know I'm gonna have those days. Like I know grief is a journey. You're never gonna get to a stopping point. Like you said, like you're always going to grieve that person. But I had to be okay with okay, today is a new day and I have to be able to wake up and do what I need to do. And if I'm able to do it, I'm gonna do it. So you have to ask yourself that question in the morning, like, can I do it today? Can I try to push through? And most of the time, the answer is gonna be yes, and you got to do it because you owe that to them. That's what I always tell myself. Like she worked so hard for me. She worked so hard for my mother, my family. She was the matriarch of our family. Like she did so much for us when she didn't have it to do and still did it. I owe it to her to do what I'm supposed to do. I owe it to her to love on people extra because she didn't have to. She's the one, she's the person that made my life the way it is now. I wouldn't know love the way that I know it now if it wasn't for her. So I owe it to her to love people out loud is what I like to say.
Mm. How'd you deal with the wrestle with God basically? Because outside looking in, people of faith, followers of Christ, it's like, oh, you should be good because oh, they went on with him and stuff. And it's like that sounds so simple. It's like, oh yes, it's great that he's went on and he's on the other side, or your grandma's on the other side now. But you still deal with the human side of like, that's still my homie. Like that was my grandma. Like, so how'd you kind of battle with the questioning with him? Because sometimes we're taught, oh, you don't question, you just let it be. Or the little cliches they say and stuff. Um, how'd you wrestle with that? Because for me, it took a minute to like understand. I don't even know. It's like understand how and why. 'Cause
Mhm,
for me, he was dealing with cancer,
mhm.
and so he battled, went through it, he beat it, and we like, "Okay, he's on the other side of it now. Okay, we're good, we chilling," like, it's just, building himself back up after it, and it came back a second time, and we were like or at least I was like, he beat it one time. Hey, man, it's him, that's Superman right here, he coming back, so we good." And then, my sister told me he was gone, I'm like, "Time out, hold on. Wait, what? Him? Superman out here?
Mhm.
Relax." And
Yeah.
it's just like thinking about all the stuff we talked about and stuff we had plans we had moving forward and stuff we felt he was called to do. And it's like, that don't add up to me. How is he supposed to be doing all these other things when he can't do it now? So how'd you kind of wrestle with yourself of like the nuances of questioning and asking him why and how and still find like your peace within it too?
Ooh, I think for me, it's still sometimes a constant battle because I struggle with the question of why. Um,
Mhm.
and I like again, we know the don't question God, and I'm not necessarily a firm believer of that because I feel like God gave me intuition for a reason, and He opened that friendship between Him and I to let me ask those questions. But I've come to terms where I will never know why. Like I really will never know why he took my grandmother, but I knew that there was a reason. I have to take, root and there was a reason. And I believe that he's an all-knowing God. So I trust that his reason was worth losing my grandmother. Like I have to trust that he knew what he was doing. Um, and I think I still battle with just the timing of it, I think, because I really wish I woulda had, like, one more moment, and I think
Mhm.
everybody battles with that one more moment, but I realized that I like to say the why was because she was in pain, like, she was not I won't say she wasn't happy because she was always a joyous person, she had the joy of the Lord that no pain could take away, but she was hurting over here, and I have to accept that if I want my grandmother to be truly happy, it may have required her to go to the other side. It may have required her to be absent from me now. But I have to have the faith and believe that one day, if I live right, I would, because I know she did. I will see her again. But I think that's where my battle with God is, because it's not necessarily for me. It is a battle with God, but it's also a battle with myself. It's me having to realize, like, do I trust what I believe?
Mm.
Do I trust that God is going to do what He said He's going to do? And it took I have one of my best friends, Kyra Borders, she reminded me, like, God has never made a decision that hasn't benefited you. And whether that was something that directly hit you or something that happened to someone else that you ended up benefiting from, no decision that God has made has ever been void, has hurt I won't say hurt you because it sometimes it hurts, but it's never been something that was truly detrimental to your journey because he knew what you were going to do and he knew what you had to go through. Are you going to trust the same God that's done everything to get you here? And
Mhm.
I had to, sit with that because she hit me hard. It hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, hold on. I had to hang up. I said, all right. But I had to realize like I have to trust God on this because there's no other way I'm gonna get through this. My granny was my best friend. My Nana Kate was everything to me. So I had to trust God in that and I had to really go internal and say, do I have the faith that like you said, social media, do I have the faith that I be putting on my socials? Do I have the faith that I can tell somebody else about? Like, do I really believe that? Or am I being a hypocrite to everybody? And I think that's what this grieving process has opened up for me because she was also my last living grandparent. So like I was so mad. She didn't get to see like great grands from me. She didn't get to see me get married. She didn't get to see me have like she didn't get that. But I had to realize like am I gonna believe God? It's a LaKaitlin thing. Are you going to be who you say you are? Are you gonna trust the man that you've given your life to? And are you going to truly walk through this journey with him hand in hand? Because I don't know another way to do it. And I had to say yes. and I think I'm still on that journey, but I think it really took me having to have the faith that, they talk about in the Bible, having the faith. And I don't think there was ever really a moment before that, you always question your faith, but there was never a moment where I really had to sit down with myself and make that definitive decision that yes, whatever comes with this, and however I feel, like I trust God in this moment. So I think that's what it was for me of just I had to battle with myself and just trust that he is the God that I said I would that I said he is.
Yeah. That's the key piece of faith, because a lot
Mhm.
of times it's you don't know and you don't understand. And I ain't trying to go too deep, but it's like we're called his sheep,
Mhm.
and if you start reading like details within the Bible, he's very surgical what he says and what he does. And I think it's always funny to me, bro. But sheep are the dumbest animals, period. And
Yeah,
we're called the sheep.
we
And
are.
it's like
Intentionally.
because like for real. And the thing about sheep, they're just so misguided and easily be led astray. But
Mhm.
because he's a good shepherd, he always carries us. And so we're called sheep because we don't know. We don't understand. But because he is the shepherd, the good shepherd, we have to have within, like, even though we are the most powerful creatures on earth, we're still dumb and don't know anything.
Mhm.
And so we have to balance that ego of like, we know a little something, but not nothing compared to him.
Mhm.
And so how do you balance what we do know with what we don't even know that he knows?
Mhm.
And that's where faith comes in. That's the gap for me. And so managing all of the stuff that we do know, and like you've studied this, so you understand to some extent. And
Mhm.
you can read and study scripture and the word. You can be in the church every Sunday, do the X, Y, and Z, whatever. It really don't matter at that point because you have to have faith. And faith is the unknown.
Mhm.
Faith is the substance things hoped for, everything's not seen. So it's like a whole bunch of unknown that you have to battle with and deal with. And because of that, that's where like we I'll answer we I deal with this part of like I know a lot, but then it's like it don't make sense to me. So I kind of lean away from certain stuff. Not even just scripture or faith is like life. Like that don't make sense to me. So I lean into my own understanding. And it's like I can't do that all the time. And not to get too deep again. But in today's time, everybody trying to be so independent and so like I got myself and I don't need this and I ain't gotta worry about that. And sometimes you have to be dumb and just be like, um, serve under something and someone, and that comes with the good and the bad, what you like and don't like.
Mhm.
And so if you really want to be a person of faith, that means I don't agree, I don't understand, I don't like it, but I'm still finna show up and do X, Y, and Z anyway.
Mhm.
And that's the part where I'm just like, bruh, can we like have some level of negotiation with this, bruh? Cause I don't know about all this, man. So
No, I completely agree. I feel the word says I can't remember the exact scripture, but it's like be um basically do whatever your master says on earth. So whoever your master is on earth, do what they say. And that is the equivalent of like a boss or a supervisor, in our terms. And even though, sometimes you don't agree, you just don't we won't agree with everything our boss or our supervisor says, but in order to honor God, we must honor the people that He's put in front of us for the moment. We have
mm,
to honor Him by being a vessel, because you never and I think this what gives me so much solace in Christ is that, yes, I get very irritated that I don't know. I wish I knew everything He knew, and then at the same time, I really don't, because when you think about it in the macro, you, me, billions of people go through the same problems we do, and He cares for them individually. Like,
mm,
I don't wanna know. I'm in an apartment. I don't wanna know what the baby upstairs gotta go through. I don't wanna know their life. I don't wanna know the building's over. I don't wanna know, but he knows. He truly cares for everyone. He knows the number of hairs on their heads, and I don't even know the baby's names. So, I'm grateful for a God that is willing to let me go through some stuff and be a vessel in the moments where I don't wanna be. And he's
mm,
willing to take my ignorance. He's willing to take my defiance and still love me, you
mm,
know? And sometimes the unknowingness is what gets us in trouble because we seek out information that's not for us to know. Like we seek
mm,
out things and try to find justifications for things that just I'm going place to place. But I truly think he gave us ignorance for a reason. Like sometimes we can't like, if we knew everything, we wouldn't be able to take that. We can
Mm,
barely I mean, we're talking about grief. We can barely take grieving a person.
yeah.
Like, we can barely take, losing a job. We can barely take that stuff. So imagine having the weight of billions of people and you gotta care for them like they're your babies. Every decision they make, you have to be the one responsible for them. So I don't want that. But sometimes I do. Sometimes I sit there and say, I know what I can do. I know what I'm doing. God, just let me. No, because I never know. I don't know where I would be if I didn't just trust God. I don't know where I would be if I didn't. Because I'm telling you, Towson was a God thing. It was the end of, I left Mercer the end of July. Like, you don't get like a D1 offer at that time. You don't. I didn't really play my freshman and sophomore year because I had, again, stacked teams. I ended up playing the last few games when we were in the NCAA tournaments. That's where I played. I did really great in those games, and that's what Zach saw. So, like, if it wasn't God that pulled me, God told my coach to put me in those games, and that's the film that got me recruited. Like, you never know how intentional God is until you sit back and say, like, I just trust what you do. If it wasn't for me going to that school, I wouldn't have the job I have now.
Mm,
If I didn't make the decision to go to Mercer in high school, out of high school, and just went a whole different direction, if I would have taken the big D1 offers that I had, I wouldn't be where I'm at now, and I wouldn't be able to affect the lives that I affect now. And I think that's where I thank God for that. I thank God that He allows me to be in a space where I can say, you know what, I don't know, because it also takes the pressure off of you. Like,
mhm,
my life is not my responsibility. Like, hey, if God told me to do it, I'm gonna do it. It ain't on me. Like,
yeah.
I'm sorry. Take it up with Him. That's what I was. Take it up with God. I don't know, but I think that's where I find solace. Is like some stuff I'm not supposed to know, but what I'm gonna do is what God tells me to do, and that's all I got for That's all I got for you. But yeah, I think that's where I find my balance in between the knowing and unknowing.
Mm. So did you ever go to therapy or anything for it?
Yes, I am a huge believer in therapy. I haven't yet gone for my grandmother's that grief process, but when I was in school, yes, I was always in and out of therapy. So,
So how have you been kind of managing yourself without that?
really just utilizing what I had in those therapy sessions. Remembering that I have to take my thoughts captive. Like, I am responsible for what comes out of my mouth. I'm responsible for what I think. And I have to validate those. One of the most important things I think I learned in therapy was my sophomore year, and my therapist told me that every thought I have to like remember it. And I know that sounds crazy, but like you have to take it and then you have to validate it. So if I can't find the truth in the statement that I said, it makes no sense for me to believe it. So if I'm saying like I'm the worst person in the world, I can't do anything right. I just passed the test. I just walked myself to class. I found a way to get on therapy session. Those are 3 things that I did pretty well. So, obviously, that's not a true statement. Gotta go. Can't believe that. Things like that, and that's really carried me through my journey of, like, I can't sit in things that just aren't true. Like, if I can't validate that thought, why am I paying attention to it? Because it makes you feel stupid, like it truly does. When you really have to sit there and validate stuff, or when you're searching for things to be wrong with you, it's just like, girl, what you doing? Like, oh, I feel so this and that, this and this. What are you doing? Like, it really made me align myself with what's true. Like, I had to really find the things that were true, and you have to seek after the things that are going to give you peace in situations, or just the things that make your thoughts correct. So I'm very thankful for that therapist at the time because that's something I've carried up until now.
We talk about players having to show up no matter what.
Mhm.
It's like, oh, we don't care about your boyfriend breaking up with you or this happened with the car. That's all cute. Once you touch the court or once you
Mhm.
cross these lines, whatever, show up, do what you got to do. How did you, because now you have to live it in this way, and this is a heavy thing. So how did
Mhm.
you kind of, did you say to yourself, all right, I still have to show up? How did you still show up and be present and do your thing with navigating the grief and with the passing and everything going on?
I think at first it was a facade. Like, I really wasn't showing my feelings, and I think people around me could feel like I wasn't myself for a good 2 months, like, I just wasn't myself. I was doing my job, but it was, you coulda put anybody in my role, it just wasn't me. But I think now is realizing that I have the opportunity to showcase the heart of my grandmother and what I do, and I had to link that to who I am now. So I think, again, I did have to tell myself, "You got a job to do. You gotta go and do it." The basketball does not care about who passed away, the basketball does not care about who was born, it just the game gonna go on. Like they say, the ball's gonna keep rolling. And I had to realize that I have an opportunity to be a part of something that is bigger than myself. And even though this is happening to me, I have 13 girls that I have to face every day that have their own problems that are gonna come back at me. I have, a staff of 11 people that are gonna need me, and I have to be there for them. And that's an opportunity. That is not something that I have to have. So I think it was that. It was just reminding myself that I have the opportunity to do this. And that really kept me going every day and keeps me going.
Mhm. Where does this strength come from? Because like you, I want to say that you just brush it off because, like you said, you had the pockets of grief, you had the moments of crying, you have the waves that come and go. But where does this strength come from? Because I know sometimes people will put on the front and people will put on the armor
Mhm,
and make it seem like nothing's bothering them. But I'm learning, it's something I deal with. It's like that vulnerability is still strength too.
mhm.
So how did you kind of find that balance of I need to cry, but I'm gonna let y'all know I'm finna show up. Give me grace as I come here 20%. You feel me? It's like how do you find this strength to move through and navigate and do everything?
My mom is my rock. I will say that. My mom is my bestie. Between her and my grandmother, we were the trio. So I think a lot of my strength is rooted in hers. The fact that, because I'm telling you, I got strength with my granny, with my mama, I don't know how it's gonna go. But to see her be able to continue to show up, because I have a special needs uncle who stays with my mother and my father now. And to not see my mother's service to him, to my father, to anyone around her waver in the loss of someone so significant, it made me have to be strong. She was the example of strength for me. And she's always been that in my life. And even now, because like we have experienced loss on our staff this year, um, in terms of their families, and to see them still show up for me, them still show up for our girls. Like I've had amazing examples of strength. And then just God, like I know that when I don't have it, there's something that's gonna come up and it's not me. You know what I'm saying? Like there is a part of him that he's gonna step in when I need him to, and I have to trust that. And I think that's really where my strength comes from, is just knowing that if I don't have it, God has it always. And if I need an example, I got my mom, I got Coach Rich, I got women that are around me that show me what strong women and getting through hard things looks like. So, and that appreciate vulnerability, because I'm not saying that my mother didn't cry. I'm not saying that my mother didn't have moments. I'm not saying that Coach Rich hasn't had moments, but they showed me what it looks like to be vulnerable and still be very strong. So I appreciate them, and I hope to emulate them by what I do every day.
Is this like the first loss that you had that was kind of close to you?
Um, I think relationship wise, yes. Like I lost my grandparents before this, but we weren't as close. Like I loved them dearly, but I wasn't like me and my granny. I'm telling you, like this from when we were playing Candyland. I don't know if you remember that game, Candyland, when I was a little
Mm,
kid. To me and her on Facetime every other day up until when she wasn't functioning well. Um, so I think, yeah, this is one of the most significant losses I've ever had.
mm. I asked that because my OG, he was the closest thing I've had to. Like I've had aunts and uncles pass, but it's like you said, nothing really close to the chest. And still thinking through like, dang, what does that look like when it does hit closer?
Mhm,
And like you said, now you have images to look at. Seeing how his family's been moving has been like, oh snap, y'all are some gangsters for real. Like
mhm.
y'all cold, cause I see, cause once again, we family for real. So his son's like my big bro, and so we talking all the time, bro. And it's like, bro, he really gone, bro. We joking, like, they joke and laugh about this stuff for
Yeah.
real. Like, it's so funny, man. And so seeing how they maneuver through everything and seeing how they talk about it, how they talk to me about it, how they've wiggled around, they're making jokes and stuff, like, at the, repass, like, we joking and laughing and stuff, and it's like, "Bruh, finding
Yeah.
jokes about anything, man," and then it's so beautiful.
It
And
is.
some people will see that and be like, "How?" But because I know them, they're like, "That makes sense."
Mhm.
And he would want that for them too. Like, "Bro, don't be up here, what y'all crying for, bro?" Like, he'll make a joke about himself if he could,
Mhm.
about them crying. And
Mhm.
so, now it's beautiful because I have that thing to hold on to and see that, so when it does hit close, I'm like, I remember what that looked like, so how can I best mirror that for myself?
For
Um,
sure.
so I think it's great that you do have your mom to look at and say, "Oh, she a gangster. Like, she walked through this thing, and she cried when she needed to, but when she done crying? Alright, get my tissue, go
Mhm.
back to war and
Stuff to
get
do.
what the world has to have for me." So, I think it's beautiful that you have that. What'd you learn from Coach? What did she kind of show you and emulate for you, especially in this moment, and what did she kinda do for you?
Um, so she was my coach for my junior and senior year, and I wanna say she tore her Achilles my my junior year. So, just little things that I've seen throughout her, like, we my s yeah, junior year was the year that COVID shut down everything, so we didn't get a player tournament game, and that's, like I mean, obviously, I was devastated as a player, but imagine, like, you have put your whole entire existence like, we were, like, basically supposed to be the tournament team, we're supposed to win, like, that was supposed to be our year. So seeing her go through that and be able to, be there for us in the moment, or, like, she lost someone that was very important to her this year, and to see how she just, like, took a couple days and showed up for her like nothing happened, and then chooses to live her life in a way that honors that person. Um, she's just really been the epitome of just go through with it. Like, you have to see it through. I would say that better. Like, seeing it through has been her example. It's just she gives so much to us. And I'm telling you, if you ever get a moment to talk to her, please do. Her story is amazing. She's given so much to the game of basketball and just to her players. Um, and knowing now being on the operational side, she doesn't get a lot back. She really truly doesn't. She doesn't get a lot of half of the things that she's given to us, she doesn't get back. But you would never know that if you met her. She gives flowers to everyone she can. She is a mentor to so many. She's a mother to so many, not only her kids, but just us. Um, she operates in a familial thing. Like, our staff now, I wanna say 3 of us were her players. The other ones, they've been on her staff for at least 5 to 6 years. Like, it is a fa she's only been a head coach, but maybe 7, 8 years? Like, it's not been a long time. Like, it's a family unit here, and for her to treat us like that and then be able to operate for others and going through all of the things she's had to defeat, I like to say, because she takes stuff and she's gonna defeat whatever is in front of her if needed. And for her to do that in the way that she does is just is something that I can't even put into words, to be honest, and I love to talk. So for me not to be able to put something into words is you can only imagine.
Mm. How did she kind of, what was her role in your grieving process?
Reminded me who I was. Like, I remember because the day it happened, I didn't really tell anyone because obviously I'm not one of those people to let my feelings be out loud, to be outrageous. Um,
That's
but
the introvert in
I
you.
posted it. Yeah, I posted it on Instagram. And then obviously the staff called me in and they gave me flowers and a card. And I remember everyone had gone to practice, and I had told her that day I probably like stay back and because I didn't want to do too much at practice if something I caught her with of anything. Um, and I remember she came in there and she just hugged me and she gave me a kiss on my cheek and she was like, "You're okay and you got this." And then she went to practice. But I don't think she'll ever know the gravity of what that did for me. Like, because I didn't know if I was gonna be okay in those moments. It was very fresh. I hadn't because the service had got pushed back. So like I was still in Philly and everybody's still in Georgia. I'm up here by myself. and I didn't know if I was gonna be okay, but for her someone that I've seen go through the tough she has special needs children as well. So, like, she is going through so much in her life still to this day. She's a caretaker still to this day, and for her to tell me that I'm gonna be okay when I've seen the things she's had to endure, I knew I was gonna be alright. And, obviously, I had my family at home telling me I was gonna be fine, but to have someone who chose to have me in her space, because this is, again, a opportunity for me. Like, she chose to have me, and she chooses now to encourage me. I think that's what really that sealed the deal for me that I was gonna be fine.
Mm. Dang, man. That does hit different when it's
Yeah.
because family, you kinda take it one way, like, you appreciate it, but it's kinda just like a lane that you kinda keep it in. When
Mhm.
it's the outside source like that, it really hits you in a different spot.
Mhm.
And I know that's because like, the way you talk about her, the way that you kind of give her flowers in this, moment, it's like, okay, I can feel the weight of what that means for you.
Mhm.
But there's still this pocket of, family's gone, she's gone, players are gone, that nighttime hits or the quiet times hitting you're alone. How have you dealt with that? Because I think that's one of the hardest pockets when a lot of people try to just keep noise around them. They'll just play
Mhm.
music and just wake up and blast on whatever they can to not be in silence and have that. So, do you struggle with the quiet times and alone times? Or if you don't, like, how do you kind of manage those pockets?
Um, I have pictures of her all over my apartment now. And I know it's crazy, but in those moments, like, I try to imagine what she would tell me. And my
Mm,
grandma was a no-nonsense woman. Um, she lost her husband while like, we went through that while, she was living, obviously. And she was one all this crying, she wasn't having it. Like, all that doing too much, she wasn't having it. So I just imagine her like, "LaKaitlin, what you doing? Like, get it together." She called me Cable. "Cable, what are you doing? Like, get it together. You got a job to do." So I just try to, in those moments where I'm just like, it comes to reality that she's not here anymore. It's just like, I knew she wouldn't want me sitting here in this bed just crying, looking crazy. So I have to honor her and get up. I have to honor her and realize that, it's not the end of the world. She always told us, we gotta go one day. She was a firm believer in Jesus Christ. She knew our time here was limited. And she made sure we knew that too. So I know she wouldn't want me in those quiet moments just going crazy and crying and acting a fool, like she would say. So I try my best to limit those moments. And when I do have them, I have a lot of voice recordings of her. So I'll just listen to those. And a lot of them she's saying she's proud of me and she loves me and to keep going. And that's the solace that I find of like, even when I want to be sad, she's literally telling me, "Keep going, like, you're fine, I love you, like, you got it." So I think that's where I find myself in those moments, just finding ways to be encouraged because I know that's what she would want me to be.
mm. So, what would you say about you right now? Seeing how you've handled everything, seeing how you've adapted and pivoted and moved, and you shrugged this off, and you know now you're becoming the gangster within yourself. You've adopted that role. What would you say about that now?
Ironically, I feel like she would say, "I told you you could do this." Like, there would be no praise, there would be no good jobs. It would be like, "I told you," and keep going. Like, that's all it would be. Because, like, our family verse is Ecclesiastes 3 and 1, like, it's the right time for everything. So she knew there was gonna be an appointed time for me to have to step into the fact that I gotta deal with it and keep going. She knew that there was gonna be a time for me to step into this operational role. She was so proud when I got these. So I think what she would say is like, "You knew this was coming and you better do it right." That's what my grandmother would tell me right now. So, and I knew that would be full of love. In her own way, it was full of love. So, yeah, that's what she would tell me right now. And don't mess up. That's her big don't mess up. So,
What would the young version of you say right now? Like seeing, like knowing how your grandma was, and
mm,
seeing the connection that she had, like at 7, at 13, at 15, and seeing this and knowing this, to know that fast forward that you at this point would be dealing with this. What would she say about you? It's like, oh snap! Like she, right when I get the Dobo, she,
mm,
dang.
mhm.
What would she say about this?
Little me would probably still be speechless. She wouldn't think that I would have gotten this far because little me went through a lot of different things. Um, I don't think she thought it would ever get to the point where I'd be able to be self-sufficient. So just to see and I think that's why me and my grandmother were so close because she knew that I doubted myself internally, and she would always pour into me to know who I was. Um, so little LaKaitlin would probably just say like, "Wow, like you did it." Like, and wow that you're able to do it without this person that was your rock. Um, so I think that's the biggest thing for me. It would just be like a shock that is happening. And I think still to this day, grown LaKaitlin is saying like, "Girl, what? Like, like this is your job? You get to do this?" So yeah, that's where I think what will happen and what the conversation will be.
Mm. So what would you say to some player, another coach, whoever's kinda wrestling with this? And it's like, "Man, I just lost this person in my life, and I'm kinda figuring out how do I show up as a player? How do I show up in school? How do I show up for, the team as a coach?" What would you kinda say to them?
The gerontology major in me would say, "Feel your feelings," and I say that now, even though, but feel your feelings first, because you can't be anything for anybody else if you're not something for yourself. So you have to first feel the emotions and go through the journey because it's not gonna stop, and if you just continue to compress them, one day you're just gonna explode. So feel those feelings, um, find a way to accept it, and when I say find, like, you truly have to find it on your own. No one can tell you what that looks like. Um, and do what you can to honor the person and whatever that looks like in your actions, in the ways you interact. Find a way to honor that person because sometimes we don't have our own strength in the moments that we think we have to show up, but find the strength that they would have had in the moment or find a way to honor what they wanted to do. Because sometimes, the people that fast are people that couldn't always accomplish their dreams or do the things that they talked about, but go do that for them, you know, go find a way. Because my grandmother, she obviously she wants the big house, like she wanted all of the things. She wants the big houses. She wants the like she wanted all that, but she had to be a family person and put us all through like things like that. She had to do that. So my goal is to set up for my family. And I think for them, it's just like for the people that I speak to, do the things that you know they will want to do. Now, making sure it aligns with your dreams. Don't go trying to overcompensate and be them, but honor them in what you do. And just keep going. Just keep trying. You don't have to be okay on day one. You don't have to be okay in day 1,000. But you have to keep trying every day that you wake up. Just try and do what you can to show up for yourself first, and everything else will come. Everything else will fall into place. And if you believe in Jesus, find that relationship and hold on tight, because that'll get you through
Mm, that's beautiful, man.
it.
Got anything else you wanna leave the people with? 'Cause,
Um,
I think that's a lot already, you feel me? So
oh. That was a lot. Just love on your people while you can. Take everything that happens as an opportunity to show love and God's love. And go to the doctor. That's another one. Go to the doctor and take care of yourself because people don't do that enough. But yeah, that's probably all I have to give.
I feel that was a personal shot at me. We ain't gonna talk.
I feel like everybody in these I know the economy, I get it, but we gotta make sure we good. Again, we can't show up for nobody. We cannot show up for anyone if we can't show up for ourselves. So go to the doctor. Yeah, go to the doctor.
I don't like you fussing at me being so loud on my podcast. Like,
It's the southern
I
in me. I don't care.
don't but nah, I appreciate you, man.
No problem at all.
It was beautiful to have the conversation,
It
you know?
was. It was much needed. I needed this more than I thought I did. Like, in terms of speaking this through, like speaking my grief process through, because I really haven't had a second to. I've done it internally, but out loud, I haven't heard what I've said. So this was beautiful for me too. Definitely an experience I needed.
Mm. I know you're making her proud, so I
I
think
hope
that's
so. My
that's the
girl.
most important thing. Yeah. But nah, I appreciate you, man. Appreciate everybody that watch and listen. Go support her. Oh, shout out the school, shout out Temple. Tell them come watch you hoop. You feel me? Do that
Please.
whole the double side, you know.
Yes.
Um,
I put a lot of
go
work
to
in, y'all. Please come see us. We get it done on the court. We in a little, some right now, but I promise you, by the end of the season, we gonna make something shake. I promise. I promise.
So she said they win a conference championship this year,
I
and she's smacking
we
everybody.
can win the Natty. Imma say I'm telling you, I'm behind mine 10 toes. Now, granted, but I'm behind mine 10 toes. I got it.
Listen, younger me, when I do the podcast, you be talking trash and used to like fuel the flame of all that stuff. But now I'm a little bit older, a little bit wiser. I'm gonna relax on that because I was itching to just be like, oh, so Don Staley just but Philly
Mm,
girl too? You talking about Philly? Oh, okay. All right.
mm,
But I'm relaxing. I'm not
we
gonna
love her.
bring up I'm not gonna bring up Gina Auriemma and
Mm-mm,
UConn and how they
mm-mm,
handle the business.
mm-mm, mm-mm,
Texas.
mm-mm, mm-mm,
Not gonna bring them up. LSU. I'm not gonna bring any of these schools up at all. I'm a
mm-mm.
Bama boy. Bama girls been handling their business too. I
Uh,
ain't gonna bring them. I'm not bringing them up.
mm,
I'm not. You ain't talking about USC. They've been struggling ups and downs a little bit, but we're not gonna bring them up. Not at all.
and we
Not
can't
happening.
forget Texas Tech. Shout out to Eric Naru, amazing recruiter and amazing assistant coach. But we're not bringing them up.
We're not. Not
Mm-mm.
at all.
Temple
None
by
of them.
1,000. Temple by 1,000.
We're focusing right now on Temple and what they can do.
Yes.
That's it. We're staying in our lane right
Mhm,
here.
mhm. Do what you
And
do
we
well.
believe in ourselves enough to say we can handle this. If we do what we can do,
Mhm.
the
Nobody
process
can
takes
beat
care of
us.
itself. Not any teams we mentioned. We ain't talking about none of
None
them.
of 'em. Mm-mm, we
We
ain't talking
talking
about
about
that.
right here, right now. You feel?
Mhm.
All right.
And
So I'm glad we settled it.
yes.
And
If we don't believe it, how we gonna show our kids to?
mm, mm. That should be the pregame speech right there.
I'm telling you. Coach Rich, telling you, I'm ready.
Hey man, you sound like a head coach now. There we go.
Oh, no. Mm-mm.
But nah, man, I appreciate you. This was really good. Uh, make sure y'all subscribe. Make sure y'all go watch them hoop and win the natty, like she said this year.
Yeah.
But we can get up out of here, man. Appreciate y'all. See you next episode.
Alright.